Okay, welcome back. You're with us here on Midcap Radar. I mean, the market's pulled back about 45 points from the lows. So in the larger scheme of things, that's minor, but it is not becoming one way. There are stops and there are attempts at pullbacks at least, which is always a good sign. Let's focus on one stock which of course has been flying high from the morning. That is Aurobindo Pharma, what I'm referring to. Aurobindo is essentially, for its important injectables unit, got a clearance from US FDA. This is the same plant for which on the 19th of February, it was reported that the plant has got a clearance, and that clearance was basically cancelled or rescinded 2 days later on the 21st of Feb. Of course, I mean, now this time the clearance is for real, and it probably hopefully stays. Cinderella Carvello of Centrum is with us to tell us what exactly this would mean for Aurobindo's prospects going forward. Cinderella, thanks very much for your time. How do you assess, I mean, what is the importance of this plant to Aurobindo? If you can sort of talk us through the numbers.
Yeah, so you know that this is one of their important approval plans from a perspective of future approvals, and it's the injectable approval. So from profitability perspective as well as growth perspective, this is very crucial. So 47 approvals are pending from this plant as of now, awaiting approvals from US FDA. So with this status, what we can expect is more approvals coming by, which otherwise were halted because the status is not clear so far. So with this VAI status, now we are expecting approvals to flow in. And as you know that the injectable business comes with a little better margins also. It should contribute in terms of margins also. Of late, we know that recently they the Sandoz deal, which was supposed to happen, is kind of called off mutually between the companies. So, after removing that, what we look forward to especially is a balance sheet which is getting delevered. Company has almost repaid $297 million debt in the last 9 months, and we expect going ahead also this trend to continue. And we should look forward to a very good balance sheet coming up with better re-rating for the stock. So the risk on the growth is behind us, and the profitability as well as balance sheet status keeps on improving as we go ahead. So that's why we continue to maintain our buy rating on the call. And with that, we have, we had removed the Sandoz deal from our numbers. So now we're looking at a FY22 EPS of around 60. And that's where I think with a valuation of around 14 times, we look forward to this stock going ahead. So more of a valuation gap which should be bridged now because all the risks are behind us. So the risk is taking care that the plant is now cleared and the injectable approvals should flow in. So that itself will give us the growth and the better earnings going ahead.
You said some 40 plus approvals are pending from 47. The plant. And you said the approvals should start to 47 to be exact. But will the approvals flow in pretty fast? How does this usually work? I mean, is it a intervening time period after a clearance of this sort?
Well, see, I mean, approval process is like it's a proper process which follows. There are CRLs and also whichever will be held just because of the plant not being cleared would flow in quickly, and rest will follow as per the timeline of the approval process. So there should be some approval which should come by quickly in this coming months or so that we should see. But later on, at least the status of 47 approval being on risk is behind us. So there should be clarity on as and when the approvals are mature, they will come by.
Okay, Cinderella, thanks for that. But there are other units as well. For instance, Unit 11 has a warning letter that was issued in July 2019. There are units like Unit 12, 7, 11, 1 that have official action indicated from the US FDA. Does that pose any risk to the earnings of the company?
So, these have already played out, like one letter stops only the approvals, but the supplies are normal from these plants. And given the emerging COVID-19 outbreak scenario, API becomes crucial. So we do anticipate some kind of benefits as we move ahead. Maybe inspection could come in little faster than expected, or maybe clearance may be followed without inspection. Such provisions would be dependent based on the shortages of crucialness of it. But I think there should be positivity in terms of the other plants wherein we have OAI status as of now. Unit 7 is also having an OAI status. So we have not heard anything beyond that OAI status as of now. So as we go ahead, maybe if the CAPA is acceptable and all that happens, we may hear something more from it. But at this point in time, whether it is a OAI or a warning letter, the approvals are halted. And what we know, around 20 to 25 approvals, all these put together, Unit 1, 9, and 11, and 7, all that put together, I think we are not looking at some meaningfully large products there.
Okay.
So in terms of approval.
Okay. So, Cinderella, in a weak market, it's the pharma index that's doing really well. So, quickly tell us, what are your top picks in the sector?
So we continue, in terms of large caps, we continue to like Oro, Sun, and Reddy's. These have been our favorites in terms of large caps. In terms of smaller names or the mid-cap opportunities, we continue to like Divi's and Biocon. And the other names that we have been liking is the domestic space, and that is Abbott and Pfizer and GSK. Plus, the smaller names that we have seen some opportunities in terms of our coverage on the small cap side. So, Aarti Drugs, FDC are available at a fairly attractive valuations, and also Granules for that matter. So, this is what we cover more or less, and I think this is what the entire space is fairly better placed in terms of this scenario that we are experiencing or going through this phase of COVID-19. So these companies need to be there for all of us in terms of supplies of medicine, to assure that each and every government assures the supply of medicine. So it is very crucial for them, and I think they will do much better, relatively better than any other industries.
Cinderella, thank you very much for your time. Good to have you here. And thanks for your opinion, not just on Aurobindo, but a bunch of other stuff as well. I mean, that pullback is still there. We are still some 40 points off the lows, but it's not pulling back in one way. 316 down on the Nifty, 8949 is where we find ourselves at. We will take a very quick break here. Come right back. More on markets, more stories in just a bit.